Yo, what's up, basketball fans? It's your guys. It's the OGs. It's the GOATs. It's the fantasy guys that you come to for the goodies. Rick Kamla and Hall of Famer Steve Alexander here on the Fantasy NBA today on the eve of the NBA trade deadline. A ton of stuff to talk about. We got some rumors. We got a lot of stuff popping in the NBA. We've got a lot of touts for you. And before we tip things off, here's a quick word from our sponsor, Bet Online. The biggest betting weekend of the year is finally here, which means more updated odds and props for Super Sunday. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. We have hundreds of prop bets, MVP odds, and exclusive in-game live betting. BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline offers you everything and more to enhance your game day experience. Visit the website today and make the game day action count just a little bit more. Bet online. The game starts here. Let's break down Wednesday night's slate, Doc. We have Cleveland at Detroit, and I just want to tip you off right here that I believe we're going to have an Evan Mobley game on our hands. We talked about how Pascal Siakam, and we capitalized on this. We won 2-point prop overs on this going against Tobias Harris, who just doesn't match up well with these guys, especially in Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley is averaging a double-double on the year against Detroit. Detroit has one big. Cleveland has two. I see that being a big problem for the Pistons. And Evan Mobley's coming off a dreadful game, Doc, against Boston in that loss on Tuesday night when he shot 3 of 14 and had 7 points. I think he's going to get back on the good side here. What you got here on Cleveland and Detroit?
Not a lot. I mean, keep riding Malik Beasley, a hot hand. Tobias Harris cannot stop these bigs from Cleveland. Yeah, I like Mobley having a big game.
So elsewhere in this game, man, when you think about Max Strus, Karis LeVert, Ty Jerome, they were all horrible against Boston on Tuesday. Which of these three guys you looking for? Because you got the core four for Cleveland. We know essentially what they're going to do. Tuesday was a little bit weird. The smalls played great. The bigs did not. But, you know, their core four is arguably the best in ball. So Strus, LeVert, and Jerome, who do you want for this one?
You know what? Ty Jerome has been amazing for like the last 10 days, 2 weeks. And, yeah, he cooled off against Boston. That's not surprising. I am going to keep riding the Ty Jerome train. I think the rest of the way. I'm sold that he's good to go the rest of the way.
I'm not. With LeVert back, I think it brings some weirdness in for Jerome. So I would say Strus, who, again, was terrible on Tuesday, but they all were. So I would say Strus with that. Rest of season value, you would say Jerome over Strus and LeVert as well?
I mean, it's true that Jerome did all that stuff when Karis LeVert was out. But he played so well. I don't know how you get away from letting him do his thing. Like, I'll go down with the Ty Jerome ship here. He should be playing more minutes and having a big role for that team. Now, they may go Karis LeVert instead of Jerome, and I'll be wrong, but I can live with that because Jerome has played better than Karis LeVert has.
He definitely has. There's no doubt. Karis LeVert's in a contract here, by the way. This is not going to be a Jalen Duren game for me, Doc. He's averaging 8 points and 11 rebounds against Cleveland on the season. And the rebounds are good, obviously, but it's going to be so hard for him. It might be a foul trouble game. In the previous game, Isaiah Stewart kind of pinched into his playing time a little bit here. So I'm not feeling Jalen Duren going into this one. I am feeling Cade Cunningham, obviously. He's averaging 27 points per game, head up with Cleveland this year, and their elite defense. So, Doc, let's move on here to Milwaukee at Charlotte. And based on what we know right now, this is going to be a little bit tricky to talk about. Bobby Portis, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez are probable. So, little round of applause for Bobby Portis, not sarcastically because it's a personal thing. I don't know what's been going on. I like Bobby Portis a lot. Interviewed him multiple times on NBA radio, every single time. Awesome personality, cool dude, and I'm just a fan of the guy. So I'm glad he's back in playing ball. Now, Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard are questionable for this game. Giannis with a knee, Dame with a groin. I believe that they're both going to play here. So what I want to bring up with you is a trade rumor that I saw involving the Bucks and the Wizards. I don't know, I saw it on Twitter.
For
Kyle Chris
Kuzma.
Middleton for Kyle Kuzma and Jonas Valanciunas. And I'm like, yeah, if I'm Milwaukee, like, hello, yes, it's an incredible trade for Milwaukee. Although, like, Jonas, I don't know, it's a little cluttered there, right? You got Portis, you got Lopez, you got Giannis. Now you're bringing in Jonas. I don't really see how that works, but you'd be bringing in Kuzma. And so you'd have more firepower. All of that for Chris Middleton? Who the hell is pulling that trade off, dude?
Nico Harrison and Rob Pelinka? I don't know. I would rather have Kyle Kuzma than Chris Middleton every day of the week. And if you're going to throw in Jonas Valanciunas, done deal. It's over. Because Valanciunas gives you incredible injury insurance. If somebody goes down, one of those bigs goes down, you can slot Valanciunas in there. I mean, that's something. But, I don't really care about the Milwaukee side of this game that much. We know what happens there. I'm interested to see if Nick Smith Jr. can keep it going because he's hot right now. Him and Miles Bridges are kind of on fire. LaMelo Ball is supposedly doing on-court work. I doubt he's going to play in this game. He may have already been ruled out for all I know, but Mark Williams, Miles Bridges, Nick Smith, I think those are your go-to Charlotte guys.
Now, in terms of Nick Smith, this would be a big game for me. He scores 20 again. I believe that would then be 3 in a row, like really good games. So we've seen these eruptions from Nick Smith before, and it has not been sustained before. So that's what I need to see. I need to see consistency. Like we're not going from, 24, 19 to 7, then 5, then back up to 18. I don't want to see that. That's been my Nick Smith experience so far. I will say this, with assuming Middleton is not traded and he plays in this game, assuming Giannis and Dame play, to me, Portis and Middleton are going to be back in that situation where they cancel each other out. Because when Middleton was out, we saw Portis had some games. Then Bobby Portis has been out for a minute here. Middleton's been very, very good. Multiple 20-point games over the last week. I believe it's 3 in the last 4 games. So he's been playing very, very well. But now that they're both coming off of that Milwaukee bench, I fade them both. I don't try, and because when they were both in there, they were really canceling each other out and sort of cannibalizing each other. To Doc's point, Miles Bridges and Nick Smith and Mark Williams all scored 20-plus in their previous game. Doc, I do have a looking ahead question here because we're at the deadline. It's a big decision moment for fantasy managers, who to trade for, who to pick up here, and we'll have the full coverage for you on deadline day starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. We're taking you all day here live. Telethon style. So, Doc, do you believe that Charlotte, do you trust Miles Bridges, Mark Williams, Nick Smith, and maybe even a LaMelo Ball, assuming this attempt to come back is earnest and they're not just playing with our emotions like they have previously done with LaMelo Ball, where you get updates for a month and then they rule him out, right? It's like, he never even came back, right? So talk to me about what you think the mindset will be for the Hornets here moving forward. Are they going to get super tanky for Cooper Flagg?
I mean, they already are super tanky for Cooper Flagg. They have 12 wins. I would be a little leery to keep in Mark Williams after he was a ghost for, so long. Man, he looks good when he plays, though. Miles Bridges took a lot of time off. I'm okay with letting Miles Bridges finish this thing out. I don't think he's going to win you a bunch of games out there by himself. I don't trust LaMelo Ball at all. I would put an over-under at remaining LaMelo Balls in games in this season, probably at 5. 4.5 would probably be my number. The shutdown is coming. Vasilij Micic banged up. So I don't really trust him right now. That's why I'm feeling Nick Smith. But I kind of feel like Bridges is good to go. Mark Williams, I don't know. Like, right, it feels like they're going to let him play, but I don't know why. Mute.
He's Mark Williams has the foot injury that he's kind of yo-yoing in and out, and so that leads to some Miles Bridges is good to go. He's healthy. He's putting up kick-ass stat lines. I agree with you on Miles Bridges. Like, if somebody made me an offer for him, I would greatly explore it. But I'm not looking to like aggressively trade a Miles Bridges like I would be a Lowry Markkanen, who I absolutely positively know is going to be shut down, or a Kyle Kuzma in Washington. I'm not there with him. Nick Smith's going to play for sure. And I just, if Mark Williams is healthy, I believe they will let him play because he needs to. But we've talked about that with guys before. They might want to see Tajon Salon and Diabate and all of these other guys. But I wouldn't be ready to hit the eject button on Miles Bridges just yet. Doc, big old game going down in Atlanta on Wednesday night. It is the San Antonio Spurs at the Atlanta Hawks. This is going to be the De'Aaron Fox debut game in a Spurs uniform, okay? And it's going to be against Trae Young. Ooh la la. I want you all to be very careful with San Antonio Spurs here. When you bring in a guy like De'Aaron Fox, and I do think this is going to work, I do think it's going to fit and all of that. But when you bring in a guy like De'Aaron Fox, you are dropping a whale into the swimming pool. It disrupts things. It causes a recalibration. It creates spacing issues on the court. Rotational issues for some of the guys who are going to be coming off the bench now. The Sohans, the Keldons, the Champagnes. They're not going to play very much, okay? But Doc, just be careful with this game. I'm telling the people here, with a Barnes, with a Stephon Castle, with a Devin Vassell, because they're going to be like, am I getting the rock? Is it De'Aaron Fox? Like, they're going to be searching in this game. Be careful. Wemby's still going to have the Wemby stat line. De'Aaron Fox, I just don't know. Is the hoopla going to sort of like fatigue him out and we get sort of a dud because there's been so much going on? Or is he completely rejuvenated and psyched and like has a huge game, just on adrenaline? I don't know. Okay. That's what I wanted to start with here, Doc. Be careful with Spurs due to this recalibration. What you got here on Spurs and Hawks?
And is De'Aaron Fox going to get the Dyson Daniels treatment? Because Dyson Daniels guarding you is a much different beast than Trae Young guarding you. So it'll be interesting to see how the Hawks deploy their defense. DeAndre Hunter should be good to go in that game. Yeah, and Chris Paul, bye-bye. 15 minutes. I think it's over for him. Wemby should have a great game against a Hawks team that does not defend bigs real well. Like, this should be a Wemby festival.
Yeah, Kongwu, DeAndre Hunter, Risache, they don't stand a freaking chance.
Oh, Risache, hot pickup right now, man. I'm feeling Risache.
I agree with you on that. On the matchup side, Wemby's definitely going to exploit those guys. But we talked about Risache on, I forget what damn night it was, but we both like Risache as a pickup right now for you all. Let me ask you a question, Doc. Who is the biggest fantasy loser in San Antonio now that De'Aaron Fox is there? And you can't say Chris Paul.
Is it Jeremy Sohan? Because I feel like Steph Castle is locked in. Sohan got hurt and he's been trying to work his way back in, but he hasn't really been able to get in. However, I could see this also being what's the word I'm looking for? The preview of Harrison Barnes going away, because I would rather see Sohan get minutes than Harrison Barnes. But it feels like I don't think Devin Vassell is in a lot of trouble here. I'm little concerned about Stephon Castle, but I'm hoping it's Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, I think the Rook is going to take a big hit here, Doc. I do, and I still think he's a roster guy. I'm actually advocating picking him up in the waiver wire article penned by me that's going to hit our website sportsethos.com pretty soon. Uh, but I don't know definitively that like Castle may be 15-5-5 with De'Aaron Fox. Devin Vassell may take the hit. I think the 18, 24-point explosion games from Harrison Barnes are going away. I completely agree with you that and Barnes has played well, but I would want to get Sohan's versatility, especially defensive versatility and length in my lineup with the three guards in Wemby, but that's not the way they're going. They're going with Harrison Barnes right here. All right, wanted to ask you that question. Now, I got a tout for you, Doc. Trae Young point prop over, okay? He's averaging 23 on the season. And I know that his point prop is probably puffed up from that, okay? So for me, 27.5 and below is an overplay for me, okay? It's 25.5, 26.5, 27.5. Play the over here on Trae Young. He's got back-to-back 34-point games. And Doc, we are back now and game-winning shot, and it's and they lost a million games and finally won one. So I'm not saying, ooh, here come the Hawks. But Doc, they are back to the Trae Young show. Bogey Bogdanovic is vaporized and maybe traded. Capella is being curbed right now to be traded. You've got obviously Jalen Johnson out for the year. So it's down to a math thing, okay? Trae Young has to go ballistic for the Hawks just to be hanging in games, and it sucks that we're back to that, but we're back to that. And so let's monetize it. I got the Trae Young point prop over, Doc, for you.
I'm not going to argue with it. I mean, see, he's by far their best scorer. It's going to be Trae and DeAndre Hunter and a Kongwu, right? So, and De'Aaron Fox is not known for his defense. Stephon Castle's not known for his defense. Devin Vassell is, but I think Trae's gonna have a big game. Wemby's in the house. It's at Atlanta. Trae's gonna be all fired up. All-star snub again. That seems like easy money.
And these games also coincide with the All-Star snub. You want to know who's popping? Dyson Daniels is popping. Last two games, he has averaged 21, 5 and 5, 2 blocks, 2.5 steals. Just check it. If Vegas hasn't caught up with the point prop thing with him, if his number's still at 13.5, 14.5, I'd play the over here because they need more scoring from Dyson Daniels without Jalen Johnson, without Bogey, without Capella, and he stepped up here. And before we move on to the next game, we want to thank you guys and girls for watching the Fantasy NBA Today podcast. Really appreciate that. Do us a favor. Go to sportsethos.com, subscribe, okay? And then subscribe to the podcast. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, Fantasy NBA Today, subscribe to it. Leave us a 5-star review as we move on to Miami and Philadelphia. Now, Doc, we got to start with the Philly side here. Very interesting stuff. And we talked about this on Tuesday night when we recapped the game. So it's a back-to-back for Philly here. The chances of Joel Embiid playing both of these games is minute, I would say. Probably asking too much. But Joel Embiid did come back on Tuesday. He was awesome with a triple-double. But what I really thought was cool was that Gershon Yabusele stayed in the starting 5 at the 4, kicked ass, was a huge difference maker, and was like vibing with Embiid and passing to him and playing off of him. And it was like, they haven't played together very much. I thought it was great to see, man. So take me into Miami and Philly.
I like that take. Yabu was very good. Yabu was very good. Sorry, I'm watching a live game while we tape this, and there's a scuttlebutt going down, but it's nothing. No big deal. Nothing to see here. Yabu's been good. Tyrese Maxey, with the return of Joel Embiid last night, was awesome. Maxey's going to have another monster game. There's no way Joel Embiid is playing tonight, right? There's no way. Like, that would be just as... he's already out. Yeah, he's already out against Miami. So it's going to be another monster Maxey game. Nobody on that team can guard him. So fire up Maxey and his over 30.5 or whatever it's going to be. It's going to be stupid, but he's probably going to hit it.
Yeah, I mean, right now, Maxey is on a roll of many 30-point games in a row here. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And before that, it was 29, 28, 37, 28. The guy, like Doc said, 29.5 or below for Tyrese Maxey. I don't care who they're playing. I don't care what planet the game is played on. Play the over on Tyrese Maxey. He's on that kind of a roll. I would even go 30.5. I would not go over 31.5. That's just like craziness, okay? There's no value left in that. All the juice has been squeezed out of the orange. But 30.5 or below, I am going over. I agree with Doc on that. And we've been hitting that point prop over, including Tuesday night. And so we've been on that angle here for a while, and you guys should get with it as well. Joel Embiid obviously is going to come in and out here with the back-to-backs, and who the hell knows? He may have just sort of teased us with a triple-double, and he may miss the next 2 weeks. Who the frick knows, okay? But assuming he comes back now and is in the lineup, it's going to get weird for Kelly Oubre. And he's my guy, but Kelly Oubre is a guy who needs the big boys to be out to flourish. And then he becomes a quasi-big boy. So Embiid coming back is not good news for Kelly Oubre. And obviously then if Paul George comes back, it's really bad news, and he may even go to the bench at that point. Just want to point that out. Oubre's going to have a game here because Embiid's not going to play. But moving forward, it's going to be a little weirder with Kelly Oubre. The numbers that you've been feasting on over the last month may not be there the rest of the way, depending on Embiid. Doc, I want to make a point about your guy, Nikola Jovic, okay? He's very close to a must-add at this point. And he reminds me of, Andre Lemush can help me out with this. Is Jovic Croatian, Serbian? He's Serbian, right? Andre, help me out with that. He is Serbian. Thank you, Andre. So Jovic is the Serbian Denny Abdia, Doc, because they are PRA studs and they give goodies as well. But Jovic and Denny Abdia, at least stat line wise, really remind me of one another. But do you think Jovic is a must add, or is that a little bit too rich?
I mean, I've been kind of saying that for 3 or 4 weeks now. So I love Jovic. Jimmy Butler ain't walking through that door, and it's Jovic now. So until the trade deadline happens, and Jimmy Butler may, you see that stuff? Jimmy Butler's like, oh, hey, guys, I'm 100% healthy. I want to put all of this stuff behind us, and I'm ready to come out and play hard for the team as long as you trade me where I want to go. So let bygones be bygones. I think Pat Riley's like, really? That's
He doesn't mean any of that. He doesn't mean any of that.
And I don't think Pat Riley cares. I don't think Pat Riley cares. And they haven't gotten any good offers for Jimmy Butler. So Jovic, to me, is good to go the rest of the way. I think he's a must-own player.
So let's go to the numbers a little bit. Over the last week, 12, 5 and 5, 1.5 steals, 2 threes. Over the last month, 13, 5 and 4, basically 1 steal, half a block, 2.2 threes. I'm sorry, that should not be on waivers right now. It should not. Over that time, and that's 91 value, number 91 in Yahoo leagues, or at least this Yahoo league, which is a 9-category league, very standard stuff. He's number 91 over the last month. Okay, that's a must-add guy. All right, it is Rick Kamla. It is Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. We are the Fantasy NBA today, previewing Wednesday night slate. And this game just could not be less sexy. Washington at Brooklyn. The NBA should just cancel this game. Just cancel the game. Nobody wants to watch this game. Nobody cares about this game, but we're paid to talk about all these games. So let's give this a whirl, okay? This might be, Doc, the last call for the Wizards vets this year. Think about this. Kyle Kuzma and Jonas Valanciunas are being awkwardly rumored to be going to Milwaukee for Chris Middleton. There's got to be a lot of other stuff going back to Washington in that trade, but who the hell knows? But it's being talked about. Jordan Poole and Malcolm Brogdon, who they have recently dusted off to see if they can go ahead and try and trade him. And if they can't, they'll shut him right back down. So this is probably the last call for those vets before Washington just pulls the plug here. And Bilal Coulibaly and your guy Corey Kispert both come off 25-plus point games. For that reason, I fade them both here because I don't see Corey Kispert having another explosion like that and Bilal having another explosion like that. They're not like career games, but they feel like way out over their skis. So I'm looking at both of those guys to slide back and regress to the mean here a little bit. Do you have anything good here on Washington at Brooklyn, Doc?
Well, in this game, Corey Kispert and Bilal slide back, but do not drop Bilal Coulibaly. And think about picking up Corey Kispert because once the trade deadline is over, those guys, I think, are going to ball. And then our guy Keon Johnson just keeps getting it done for the Nets. The rest of that team, I just don't know. Keon Johnson is all I got in Brooklyn.
That's it. We just don't even need to belabor the point. You get these little pop-up games, these 12-point games, 13-point games from a Wilson, from a Zaire Williams, and it's never sustainable. It's just yuctitude, man. So let's move on. Memphis at Toronto. And, Doc, this is an interesting game for a couple of reasons. I want to start with Zach Edey. Zach Edey, has the ties to Canada, and this is a homecoming for him up in Toronto. I think he's going to vibe out on that. I think he's going to feel the love and be very happy and play well. He's got 11 or more rebounds in 3 of the last 4 games. His rebound number and block number have been very consistent over like the last 5 games. The points have kind of come up and down. And in terms of like activating on a point prop, I say hell no to that. I do like the rebound prop over at 8.5 or 9.5. I am going to go for a double-digit rebound game here. And if his blocks are at 1.5, okay, I'm thinking about the over there, but I don't know because I'm probably going to I feel with the rebound number, I make it 13 at a 9.5. I mean, if you're at 1.5, you're begging for that second block the whole second half, right? Could get a little dicey for you. And then one more vibe I got here, Doc, before I ship it over to you is Luke Kennard. Desmond Bane is out. Kennard is going to continue to start, I believe, and he's going to have a bounce-back game. He's been very, wildly erratic, right? He'll have these bomb games, and then these dude, what the, F. He had 2 points on 1 of 6 shooting in the previous game, and this is a juicy matchup at Toronto. So I think Luke Kennard's going to come back and have a nice little streamer game or just kind of one of those typical, 5-3 ball, 19-point Luke Kennard games.
Yeah, I haven't studied Luke's game log lately, but as I recall, he's been rock solid for 2 months. And then he had that total washout in his last game, 1 of 6 for 2 points, like you said, with no Desmond Bane. That was a G.G. Jackson game, by the way. Luke Kennard bounces back in this one, and G.G. Jackson is healthy. He's back, and he's not a guy you run out and pick up. He's not a must-own player, but he's a guy you've got to pay attention to. And if he does anything in this game and you're in a deep league, I'm at least paying attention to what he's doing.
I agree with that. If you're in a 14-team league or above, I think you roster G.G. Jackson at this point. But 12 and below, you don't. He's a streamer on light NBA nights. Here's the point flow for Luke Kennard. I just want to give this to you all, okay? 2, 8, 22, 7, 4. He's been single digits in 4 of the last 5. Then you go to 27 with 7 threes, 23 with 7 threes, then back down to 7, then 17, then 15 with 5 threes, then 4, then 11, 13, and so I don't want to go on any further. You get the idea, okay?
You're saying he's due tomorrow, tonight.
Super due.
Yeah.
Super due. And we know the Luke Kennard, if he doesn't make shots, the minutes are going to be light, and Jenkins is going to go with other guys. But if Luke Kennard's got that hot hand, he'll play 31 minutes and have these big games that we've been kind of foretelling here. Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson Jr. should both be point prop over eligible here without Desmond Bane. They both played well in the previous game. Again, this is at Toronto. It's as juicy of a matchup as it gets. And you're on the road, so it might be a more competitive game, right? And then so the blowout factor is a little bit less likely. If this game was in Memphis, obviously, like pretty much all bets are off. But it's at Toronto, maybe a 7-point Memphis win where they got to play all the way to the end of the game. Doc, I have a question for you about Emmanuel Quickly, okay, whose minutes, I believe he played 20 on Tuesday night, and he got out of the teens. He's now into the low 20s. Presumably, he will work up to 30, 32 minutes per game, okay? Is he a buy low guy for you right now?
I'm not messing with him. I don't trust him to stay healthy. Toronto's not good. I just don't trust him. No, I'm not. I don't want Emmanuel Quickly on my team.
Okay. I just wanted to take your temperature with that. I feel like I want him to be somebody else's headache, not my headache. And we talked, Doc. I've got him on one of my teams. I was in a league and he slipped and slipped and slipped and I said, screw it. I'm taking Emmanuel Quickly. I mean, what a horrible draft pick, right? He's been dreadful. He's been one of the absolute busts of the year, but it was a deep pick, when everybody's taking sleeper guys that kind of hit and miss. So who cares, right? I have been just fine even with that. I wouldn't call it a mistake. It's just a swing and a miss. Doc, let's move on to Chicago at Minnesota. We are breaking down Wednesday night slate of games on the Fantasy NBA today. Rick Kamla and Hall of Famer Steve Alexander. Matas Buzelis is a thing, okay? Go get him, folks. He had a big game on Tuesday in the win over Miami. And to me, he's a must-add here, Doc, before Nikola Vucevic is traded. Vuce is most likely going to be traded, okay? They got rid of Levine. They've gotten rid of DeRozan. Now it's time for that next wave to start taking over. And the next wave looked pretty freaking good on Tuesday against the Miami Heat, okay? A lot of young guys were activated, Io and Kobe White and Buzelis, and guys all played well and they won the game, okay? Matas Buzelis, it's about to be Matas season. You listen to the broadcast, they freaking love him, okay? He's from Chicago, for the love of orange. So I think it's all like boosh, like mushroom clouding for Matas Buzelis right now. And Doc, he has a very fantasy-friendly game. He hits threes, he blocks shots, he's going to flirt with double-doubles. And I think people need to get him right now before Vooch is traded. And then everybody's trying to pounce on him. And you want everybody in your league to be like, damn, Jim already got him, right? Be Jim and already go get him.
Yeah, and it looks to me like they've bumped Pat Williams, finally. Pat Williams has been standing in Buzelis' way. Buzelis has been slowly creeping up. I've been screaming for a month, let him play. I'm tired of Pat Williams. It's finally happening. Buzelis is everybody's going to know who Buzelis is after the All-Star break when he wins the dunk contest. Which I think he's going to do. And he's fun, man. I am a huge Buzelis fan. And, what he did on Tuesday night was cool. He kind of went off. And I'm excited to see it. The other thing is, the guys the Bulls are playing right now, it's like Giddey, Ball, Kobe White, Dosunmu. All four of those guys are guards. You can't start four guards and a center. You need Buzelis out there. You need a somewhat big body out there. So it's Buzelis season, as they say. And the Bulls are not going anywhere at this point, although they have 22 wins. So I guess they'll probably make the play-in tournament. But and then if Vucevic gets moved out, I think Jalen Smith, one of Brewski's guys, might become a thing. But hopefully it's Buzelis.
Yeah, I wonder about that. If they just go super guard heavy and start Buzelis at the 5, he's big enough to play that position. He's not, he's light in the cakes, as they say. He's a very skinny guy that's going to get pushed around. So maybe they'll look at him as more of a 4. A la Chet Holmgren next to an Isaiah Hartenstein. I would imagine that Jalen Smith would enter the starting 5, knowing Billy Donovan. He's not crazy about rookies. He's old school. He'll probably want more of an actual center in there, and Jalen Smith fits that bill. He's got a rocked up body, and he can handle himself in the paint. a lot better than Montes can right now. All right, y'all want to know who's popping, okay? Who's popping right now for Minnesota is Jaden McDaniels and Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert's killing it, okay? It's big double-doubles every night, and good for Rudy, okay? He's kind of like, I mean, he's not quieting anybody. Everybody loves to take their shots at Rudy Gobert, but I don't care. In the fantasy world, he's doing it. Now, in terms of Doc, Jaden McDaniels, he is basically, over the last 2 games, okay, he's basically putting up a low-key Wemby line, okay? These numbers are absolutely ridiculous, and this coincides with Julius Randle being out. All right, last 2 games, he's at 22.5 points, 9.5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 blocks, 2.5 steals, and 2.5 threes per game. That's a low-key Wemby line. And, Doc, I don't really, with Randle out, they need basically 15 to 20 points or more from Jaden McDaniels. And so we are seeing that he's a 3-and-D guy, right? By trade. It makes a high percentage of threes. He's an awesome defensive player. And he averages 12 or 13 points a game like every other 3-and-D guy. He's showing us right now that he's more than a 3-and-D guy. And I don't know, Doc, maybe opening up Minnesota's eyes to like, yo, we got to get this guy to rock more. I mean, he's absolutely killing it. He's obviously talented. He's very, very well paid, over $30 million a year. So there's a whole Jaden McDaniels thing happening right now.
Jaden McDaniels, Rudy Gobert, and Naz Reid. You pull Julius Randle out of that mess, all those guys benefit. All of them go off. Gobert looks like a different player. Reid is hot. McDaniels is playing the best stretch of his career. So, yes, Julius Randle getting that groin injury has opened the door for all 3 of those guys to go off.
Jaden McDaniels, he's, what is he, 53% rostered in Yahoo? 54. It's +5 over the last week. He should be at least 75% rostered right now. And Naz Reid here, 30 the other night, starting for Julius Randle. I do like the point prop over for Naz Reid in this game. He averages 13.8 on the season. He's in a much different lane, though, now. Starting, no Randle. They need points and goodies from him. So if it's 15.5 or 16.5, I'm going over on the point prop for Naz Reid in this game. Doc, let's talk about Golden State at Utah and Steph Curry. Is he a sell-high guy right now? If you have Steph Curry, because we talked, I believe it was, what night is it? Help me out. What night? Is it Tuesday night?
Right now it's Wednesday afternoon. We're previewing.
It is. You're right. I'm so discombobulated with all this stuff. Okay. We are previewing Wednesday right here. But who cares? On a previous show, we talked about Steph Curry, and you expressed real concern about the rut that he is in, about the disinterest going to. So take me further with that. If you are a Steph Curry manager, and I would like to know if you have some shares of Steph Curry, are you looking to sell high with him?
I don't have Steph. I will say that all this trade flurry with De'Aaron Fox and Zach LaVine and Luka and Anthony Davis has Steph Curry standing there in Golden State like, bro, somebody help. Get me some help. You know, the old LeBron line. I need more help. Get Steph Curry some help. There's talks about Kevin Durant. There's talks about Jimmy Butler. There's talks about, I'm sure Golden State is like, man, we got to do something. This is stagnant. It's boring. We're not very good. Our coach is playing everybody 17 minutes a night, and it's not doing anybody any favors. So I don't think it would take a lot for Curry to catch the fever to go off again. Right now, he just doesn't have it. He's been bad for like 3 weeks, not Steph Curry-like. So I think it's a good buy low opportunity on Steph Curry. Like, I'm more in the go get Steph Curry market than I am, I need to get rid of this guy.
All right, so Andre Lemouche, we need you to come in here and break the tie, because I'm a little squeamish with Steph Curry right now. I don't know that they're going to make a move. They had an opportunity to go get Larry Markkinen in the offseason for either Kuminga or Podziemski. They didn't do it. They should have done it. They'd be in a much better spot right now. So they said no to that. Jimmy Butler said no to Golden State. So I just don't know. I don't feel like help is on the way. I mean, who the hell knows? I also know that what I do know is how stubborn Steve Kerr in that organization are. They don't do knee-jerk stuff. They're not going to go make some wild-ass move like Daryl Morey going to get Paul George. What a freaking disaster that move was, right? And I'm not mad at him. You're going for it, okay? But just an absolute disaster of a move. But if I've got a Steph Curry, I would love to get into a Tyrese Maxey. I would trade Steph to get into a Damian Lillard. I would trade Steph to get into a Tyrese Halliburton. I would trade Steph to get into a Kyrie Irving now that that Luka is gone. I would trade Steph to get into a Devin Booker. I would trade Steph to get into a Donovan Mitchell, Anthony Edwards. Go ahead and just shop him for all those guys. Because the play is flagging for Steph. Frankly, he's getting old, okay? And the team just sucks. Like, I want, in football, it doesn't matter. Everybody goes for it on every play all the time. But in baseball, at the end of the year, I want guys that are in the pennant race. I don't want guys on crappy teams that just are going out there with empty at-bats. No, I want every at-bat to matter for these guys. So I want, some what's at stake here. And I feel like the what's at stake is going to drift away from Golden State. And they're just going to be out there going through the motions, and who knows, they may just pull the plug on Steph at some point. So Andre Lemouche, are you a buy low Steph Curry guy or a sell high Steph Curry guy? Oh, he has not answered. Okay. So we're at an impasse here.
So here's what I'll say, Rick. Do not trade Steph Curry right now. Like, let him have a good game or two before you do it. Because right now, he has not been through a stretch like this that I can remember.
It's been a while. I mean, yeah, I understand. And Andre Lemouche says he is buying low. So I'm a sell high guy. Doc and Andre are buy low guys. And don't sleep on Andre Lemouche. He's in a million leagues. He's a brilliant fantasy mind, just like your boys Cam and Doc. And we are your dream team, and our boy Aaron Brewski as well. Fantasy NBA today. We'll all be together on trade deadline day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. We begin. Okay, so I just moved my Google Doc in a very weird way. I'm going to have to fix this in a minute when you start talking, Doc. But these are my issues, not anybody else's. Andrew Wiggins is the only other kind of good fantasy player on Golden State. He's averaging 17.6 points on the year. The other numbers are kind of whatever. He had 25 against Orlando. Literally, everybody else can just go. Trace Jackson-Davis, my guy, for not playing him, Podziemski and Hield and all these guys. They're very, very capable stat guys if they're playing minutes. And, of course, Steve Kerr just refuses to play anybody minutes. It's like Steve Kerr's gone, I was going to make a political reference, and I don't want to do that. So one more point to make here, Doc. Everybody loves a political joke, right? Colin Sexton suffered a left ankle sprain on Monday against the Pacers. He's going to be out at least a week. Happy trails to you. We'll see Colin Sexton in the fall of 2025, right at Media Day. We'll see him then. So assuming Colin Sexton misses a bunch of time here, Doc, are you going with Clarkson, Collier, or Keontae George off the waiver wire if you have your pick between those three guys?
I'm going Collier, then Keontae, then Clarkson.
Okay, can you give me a little bit more while I pull my document back up here? Help me fill here, dude. Do a little tap dancing for me, bro.
I feel like we need to get through these games, bro. We got our stuff to do. Collier, to me, is the most sound fantasy player of those three. Keontae's been good, man. I want Keontae and Collier right now. I want both of them, especially for Colin's shutdown. Lauri Markkinen, going to be gone or shut down. John Collins, going to be shut down. Jordan Clarkson, maybe shut down. I want all the Keontae and all the Collier that I can get. Yeah, I'm really not interested in Jordan Clarkson right now. I'm more interested in Johnny Juzang than I am Jordan Clarkson.
I'm interested in Jordan Clarkson going to a contender and being liquid offense off of that bench like the Knicks. I go Collier, then Keontae George, and I'm very bullish on Collier. We have been for a while. He's still on waivers in a bunch of leagues, and he's just out there lingering at 8 assists a game. His roster percentage should be way higher than it is. He's already kicking ass, and it's not even silly season yet. Wait till they shut all these guys down. He's going to be flirting with like 27 and 10 stat lines. He's really going to have a lot of goodies. All right, Doc, it's a massive Wednesday night slate. All right, we're chopping our way through this one game at a time. Pelicans at Nuggets. Why do we need this game 2 games in a row in 2 different cities? It's just so stupid. Okay, complaint over. I have another complaint. Will Willie Green start Jose Alvarado over Javonte Green? Will he come to his freaking senses? Don't drop Jose Alvarado. Hold on to him for at least another game or 2 to see how it goes with this. Coaches get experimental, and hopefully that's what's happening here. But that is the number one thing I'm watching for in this game on both sides of the coin. In the Pels last game, Murphy had 31, CJ McCollum had 30, and Zion had 14. Doc, are you feeling a bounce-back game from Zion Williamson, who had 14, 16, and 5 in his previous game? Do you even care?
No. No, Zion is just punching the clock. Like, Zion is like a, I don't know the word. Dude, getting old sucks. I can't remember words anymore. Zion is an exaggerated version of Steph Curry. Out there going through the motions, playing basketball, doing his thing. I don't trust Zion at all still. No. Maybe he bounces back. Maybe he gets up for Jokic. I don't know. Nor do I don't care. I don't care. All I know is Trey Murphy is a stud. He's a bad dude, man. And they're talking about, did I read Zion and Brandon Ingram to Golden State? Wow.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that. I mean, if I'm Golden State, I'd do something like that. I mean, we suck. We're literally we're the Titanic sinking. Okay, in the ocean. I would swing for the fences with that. I'm probably going to lose, but it's better than what they have. Doc, I want the people to play the point prop over on Michael Porter Jr. No Aaron Gordon, no Russell Westbrook. They need offense from Michael Porter Jr. And I got to check on Aaron Gordon here real quick. I believe he's questionable for this game. If he hasn't already been ruled out, he is questionable for Wednesday. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. If Aaron Gordon does not play, go with the point prop over for Michael Porter Jr. If Gordon does play, all bets are off. But Michael Porter Jr. has been hot. 24 points, then 15 points, then 36 points in his last game. And it's because Denver needs the scoring. Nikola Jokic is another great bet for a triple-double. It's the Pelicans. All right, Doc, Phoenix at OKC. And there's some stuff to talk about here. Kevin Durant is doubtful for this game. All right. There was a report that Phoenix is entertaining trade offers for Kevin Durant. All right. So is he doubtful, Doc, because they're trying to get him off the floor so he doesn't get hurt so they can trade him? And so this is very, very interesting. So did Kevin Durant ask out of Phoenix behind closed doors without a Shams bomb? Or is Phoenix asking out on Kevin Durant? But this is juicy right here, bro. That Kevin Durant, the story that they're kind of taking some phone calls on KD. How do you read this, bro?
You know, I'm not a trade deadline expert, but I feel like Kevin Durant is very available. I feel like Phoenix is like, man, we took our shot with our big three, and guess what? It didn't work. And I mean, Kevin Durant is old, right? That bald spot on his head is huge. And, you know, I'm lucky enough to have most of my hair still, but KD's old, man, and Steph Curry's old. Like these guys, and you can still trade Steph Curry for more than what Dallas traded Luka for. You could still trade Kevin Durant for more than what Dallas traded Luka for. Like there's value there. There's picks. There's a future there. So yeah, I feel like KD will be traded.
I said on NBA radio some time ago, Doc, that I think it was the offseason. I said that Phoenix needs to trade Kevin Durant to Houston. They need to get Jalen Green. They need to get like Cam Whitmore and, maybe, I don't know. But like Jalen Green, Cam Whitmore, maybe you can get, another young stud off of them. Maybe you can get a Reed Shepherd. Probably not. But, some pick stuff like that. But Houston has the perfect mix of draft picks and young studs that a team like Phoenix needs to regenerate their thing, because they're a dead team walking. They have been. Every big three that Kevin Durant builds is a house of cards ready to crumble with injuries and all this, because they never, ever work, okay? That's why, the whole thought of Jimmy Butler going to Phoenix to merge forces with Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, and I saw FanDuel put out who beats this trio, and I, quote, retweeted injuries. That's who beats that trio, okay?
Father time.
Father time. I'm not feeling that at all. But so I absolutely, positively, and I have for a while, think that Phoenix needs to trade Kevin Durant, because the older he gets, the less you're going to get back for him. I believe, Doc, if memory is, I believe he has an extension that he hasn't signed yet, which complicates it even more. So Kevin Durant very well may be on the move here, and he very well may be on the move to Golden State. Buckle up. Doc, I have a conditional point prop over here on Devin Booker. Pardon me. Point prop under. Sorry. Point prop. I usually go over on these things. Devin Booker's on a heater, Doc. Over the last week, he's averaging 32 points per game. But OKC is a really, really bad matchup for Devin Booker. This year, he's averaging 12 points a game against them. Last year, he averaged 14 points a game against them. It aggregated. Over the last 2 years, he's averaging 13 points a game against Oklahoma City. We know why. His name is Lou Dort and Alex Caruso and Cason Wallace, although he may not play. You get the point. They've got all these defensive wings, right? Also, you've got a blowout factor built in here, okay? Kevin Durant ain't going to play, folks. This is Phoenix, not OKC, okay? And Devin Booker's number, Doc, is going to be 28.5, 29.5 or something like that. And I rarely tout unders here, but I'm under Devin Booker on Wednesday night.
I like it. Somebody's going to have to score for Phoenix. So there is a chance that Devin Booker goes off. But he's entering the torture chamber. And most people who enter the torture chamber don't come out in one piece. And you just said it, man. He's averaging 12 points against that team. I like it. I like a Devin Booker under tomorrow. I absolutely do. And the over under for SGA is going to be at like 33.5. Would you do it?
I'm just out. It's because it's going to be a blowout. He's probably going to get 32. You know what I'm saying? And like miss it by a bucket, right? No, you got to sniff out the blowouts, especially as we continue on with the season, because we're going to have so many mismatches with teams shutting guys down, teams sort of powering down in terms of their motivation and their spirit. And then you've got another team that's just all cranked up and ready to go, and they buzzsaw them by 25 points. And nobody plays in the fourth quarter. All right, guys, we have one more game to tell you about, Orlando at Sacramento. Make sure you download the Sports Ethos app. Please do that for us. Go to your favorite app store. Download the Sports Ethos app. It's completely free, and it's loaded with goodies. It's got individual player blurbs across the board in a variety of sports, including our beloved NBA. Orlando at Sac, Doc. I want to start with let me see if the point spread is out for this game, because when I did some research, I don't know, a couple hours ago, it was not. Let's see if we can get a point spread on.
I'll tell you what it is.
It is 5.5. Sacramento by 5.5. That is a hit, okay? If it's a conditional deal, all right? If Jalen Suggs does not play, go Sacramento -5.5. If Jalen Suggs plays, all bets are off. We've talked about this a million times. Jalen Suggs is the pivot guy for Orlando. When they've got him, they've got a shot. When they don't have him, they suck. This is going to be the Zach LaVine debut in a Sacramento Kings uniform. Opening night for the new look Kings. It's going to be a ton of energy in the building. This is going to be a math mismatch. You've got all of these scores for Sacramento, one of the most loaded starting fives in terms of offensive firepower in the entire NBA, against a team that has Paolo Banchero in a slump, Franz Wagner, and nobody else. Okay, there's no way Orlando can keep up with 120 per game Sacramento. There's no way, okay? Maybe not even if Jalen Suggs comes back, but if Suggs comes back, my respect for him, I'm out. And he's doubtful for this game, okay? So this looks like a giddy up and go here, Sacramento -5.5, Doc.
All right. I like it. What about Malik Monk? Is Malik Monk gonna go off, running the point?
In Zach LaVine's, like I said about De'Aaron Fox, Doc, I think that there's going to be a recalibration now with Sacramento. De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, Domantas Sabonis, all figuring out how to work off each other. They've got this new hotshot stud, and it's going to take time to kind of vet that. I think temporarily Keegan Murray and Malik Monk are going to be losers here. DeRozan always gets 20. He always gets his numbers. LaVine's going to get pretty good numbers, and Sabonis is going to do his triple-double thing. I think Monk and Murray are going to be the guys that take a little bit of a hit. I have a question for you on Malik Monk, Doc. Are you selling high with him right now, or are you geeked that he's now the point guard? Because there could be downside or upside depending on that. So are you selling high here with Malik Monk?
Dude, I mean, there's so many mouths to feed, like you said, in Sacramento. I mean, Zach LaVine, in my mind, is a shooting guard, right? Malik Monk, in my mind, is a shooting guard. DeMar DeRozan, in my mind, is a small forward / shooting guard. Like, these guys are all trying to do the same thing out there. And I like the fact that Monk is probably going to be running a point. Like, that's good. But he's going to be passing the ball to a bunch of guys who are not going to pass it back to him. So I think one way or another, his scoring is taking a hit. So, yeah, I would say he is a sell high guy right now.
I would agree. Now, you can't go big game hunting like we talked about with Steph Curry, where I mentioned all of the top guards in the NBA that you're making these 1-for-1 deals for. You would have to get creative, but I do see the downside here with Malik Monk. So, Doc, we have completed there's like 18 games on Wednesday night, and we've broken them all down, bro. Anything you want to tell the people before we get out of here?
Nah, man, we'll see you live at 9:30 a.m. tomorrow. And all day. We're going till 7 p.m.
All day, baby. We've got all the trades for you, all the breakdown. We'll be talking about games and fantasy stuff as well, but it's mostly going to be trade breakdown from your boys. For the great Dr. Ray and our guy Andre Lemouche behind the glass, I am Rick Kamla. Thank you for watching the Fantasy NBA today. Again, download the app. It's completely free, Sports Ethos app, and go to our website, sportsethos.com, and subscribe. We appreciate you all, and we are out. This episode's been brought to you by Bet Online.